Hello, divine, beautiful souls. We have Energy Speaks podcast here with your host, Catriel. This season, season three, we're jumping headfirst into the Zodiac Energy Empowerment series. And we are in the week of Libra for our podcast series. And I have our Libra in person practitioner who I'm so excited to talk with today and share with you all. Her name is Ray of Light, also known as Luminous Vox. She is a modern day mystic, poet, and musician, an all around cheerleader for the soul, the human soul. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on today. I'm excited to begin this journey. Well, we've already began the journey, but begin the journey out with everyone else. So how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. Super happy to be on here with you. Feeling like so blessed. And yeah, I'm ready to have some fun.
Oh yeah. I know this is like right because I talked to you right before, but the scene behind you um it just gives me so much like heart expansion. I love Vincent van Gogh, and I just went to London like for my birthday, and I got that exact um like picture and brought it back with me. So I'm like, this is like, you said cheerleader for the human soul, right? Like I feel like that's like the
Yeah.
star, the spark saying, hey, you got this, buddy.
Shine on, shine on. Yeah, it's amazing. It's very comforting to me as well. I love having it there.
Mm.
I
So
just learned a song, but now the artist's name is escaping me, but I learned how to play it on the piano because I'm learning to play piano now, and for a little less than a year. And the song's called Vincent, and it's about Vincent van Gogh, and I've got this in the background. The
I
song's called
love that
Starry Starry Night.
song.
Don McLean
Starry,
is the
starry
yeah
nights.
artist. Yeah.
I love
Oh, you
it.
did
Oh
that
my,
so well. You have a
thanks.
nice voice.
Thank you. I'm a little bit wonky with the nose right now, so I was like, oh boy.
I couldn't tell.
I'm actually really excited to use my voice, for this journey. And so how long have you been a musician? Just something that's part of you forever, or
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah?
basically as soon as my mom tells the story, about how when I came out of the womb, I had a microphone and I started dancing.
I was so just gonna ask you
That's what
that.
just came to my
Okay, I was gonna be like, did you
no.
just come out of the womb with a microphone?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
maybe you
no,
read
but
my
I
mind.
really that's so funny. That's so funny. We're on it. Yeah, I really as long as I can remember, I think that all human beings um are artists and musicians, all of us. So that's my perspective on things. And there's a meme going around about before that I saw that I really liked. I was like, yes, I know this to be true as well. And it was like before we speak, before babies speak, they sing, and before they walk, they dance. And it's so true. So yeah, I think that we all just it comes naturally to us. And if it doesn't come naturally for you, like don't worry, you're still human, I think. But but like I think that we're all musical, and as kids, in kindergarten or preschool or whatever, we're always singing songs. That's like a thing, right? And I think a lot of us, at least in the States, have that experience. And but it's really universal to sing. And I think, and back in the day, when there was just a lot of menial tasks and stuff like that, and in those cultures of, just whether it was like weaving baskets or, like making tools or like harvesting plants like food or whatever, there would always be like a rhythm and a song to it. They had songs and rhythms for all that stuff. And so yeah, it's just woven into like who we are, in my opinion. So I don't think I became a musician. I just like am a human. That was a long answer.
I love that so much, and I agree. Um, I have had so many conversations with people, being an artist myself. Uh, well, I mean, I would say I'm more a visual artist, but I do have some musical talent. But I've had so many conversations with people of like, we all have this in us. Like, it's part of our essence, and we all have our own tune. And it's like, I
Mm.
really like, for instance, like mine is myrrh. Like, I feel like I wish we could go into like, we all had sounds and we just like said things to each other and these sounds. I think that would be awesome. What would be your sound?
That's happened. Hmm. I don't know. I feel like I have all the sounds, but one that's coming to me right now is like.
Okay, you know what that just reminded me of? Okay, so there's like a thing on Facebook the other day where someone was calling in their soulmate. And so they just said their like their
Yeah, yeah.
sound.
I saw that and I was like, I so would have answered. Like if I heard someone doing that in a public place, I immediately would have responded in kind. Yeah. And I was like, my people. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I
And
feel
your people, your soulmates do know you through sound, and like that is a practice you can try. Like if you say your myrrh to, whoever and see what comes back, you'll know if it's your people, if there's no hesitation and they just give their own, sounding back to you. I heard you, I see you, this is me in response. Yeah, like I meow a lot. Um,
I love that. Oh
and
my
people
gosh.
meow back. What are words? And that's
You
like
know,
light language,
yeah.
like light language as well, what people refer to as light language. And I mean, it's even like in Pentecostal like situations, it's like speaking in tongues and stuff. It's like being moved by the Spirit. And there's even there's probably several, but there's one that I know of called Carl Jenkins, who's a composer who writes music and writes tonal, like phonetic lyrics, but they're not words of any language. So
Hmm.
and it's so powerful. Carl Jenkins, highly recommend checking it out. Amadeus is this one song I really like. But yeah, Carl Jenkins. And so yeah, that phonetic like sounding of vowels and consonants uh without the filter of any particular language is so powerful. And it's
Mm.
more, to me, it's more true than, it has more truth in it in a way than any language, because it contains more of the whole of what's being communicated on like a sentient level, right?
Yeah.
So myrrh.
Meh. You know, I started thinking, like we've had a lot of energy shifts within the last, well, month, but the last few years, really. But major ones in the last month, especially with Aquarius, well, Pluto entering Aquarius, and just a lot. How do you think sound is going to affect us really coming online to this like age of Aquarius type of energy?
Dude, I love that you're drawing this like comparison, like it just, I got chills all over my body when you said that, because I was talking about how human beings are musical beings, like we're musical creatures, like just that's what we are, right?
Yeah.
And that and and then I thought about how I've always said, because I've been, on this path for a really long time before all this stuff. There's this major boom in like everybody knows about sacred geometry and frequency, and all, like it's so mainstream now. When I started doing all this research and stuff, it was not. And so
Right.
yeah, so uh why did I say that? uh ADHD moment, sorry.
It's
um
okay.
Anyhow, the oh
Story of
yes,
my
I
life.
remember. I remember. I remember. Okay, so I've always said, even before it was like said by many more people, which is so refreshing and amazing. And we still got a long way to go, but I've always said that the future of medicine is light and sound, is frequency, right? And light and sound are really the same thing in two different expressions. So as far as how, and Aquarius is all about, well, one of the things is it's a technology, right? Uranus is about like new breakthroughs in technology. And then Aquarius being the sign of humanity, it's like we're in for some major like revelations around light and sound and healing and other technologies as well. But um yeah, I think it's major. And as far as yeah, sound and the sign of Aquarius, Pluto entering Aquarius, Pluto's the great transformer. And um there's going to be, probably a lot more development around sound and frequency use in a negative way, or there'll just be a lot more like a revealing of that, of how like maybe some of the frequencies that surround us are harmful to us, um, and things like that as well. So there's always two sides to the coin, but I think we're going to see some amazing, amazing things that just blow us away as far as healing and sound, and not just healing, but other things that sound and light can do, and just the nature of our reality and the nature of what we are, because it's the human element of Aquarius, it being the sign of humanity. It's really like the human angel, right? And that the you see like the angel, the lion, the eagle, and the bull, and the fixed signs of the zodiac.
Yeah.
That the human is actually an angel. So
Mm.
and humans are actually the lowest hierarchy, or the lowest, like we're the 10th angel in the angelic hierarchy. So human beings are angelic beings, and that's like
Mm.
our apex, what we can reach, what we can ascend to in a sense, right? And what
Yeah.
we can become. And so what humanity is, how that's tied to sound, I think that there's going to be just major truths revealed around that, and it's freaking beautiful.
Well, it's interesting. I've been like really like as we've been hearing more about Pluto entering Aquarius, of course, naturally, I'm a history buff. I love looking at history and seeing what happened, how what happened before with this. So
Mhm.
the last time this happened was during the around the time of the American Revolutionary War and the French. And
Mhm.
also prior to that was around the time like of the like Renaissance. And so I don't have the
Mhm.
exact date here, but I believe it was like in the 1550 or something, 1560 going into 1600s. And then I find this super interesting because that Renaissance is a rebirth. and we think about like what
Mhm.
came online during that, like Leonardo da Vinci, he had all these different like drawings and schematics. You have the atom kind of like, you know, the picture I'm talking
You're
about
talking
with
about
all.
the Vitruvian man. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
divine, it's the divine proportions. Yeah.
Yes.
And
We
how our bodies are a reflection of divinity.
Yes, exactly. And then we have like Michelangelo with that picture that literally paints that essence, with with Adam and God,
Oh,
like
oh, you're talking about, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. You're talking about where they're
touching exactly
touching
that
fingers.
it's like they were all saying the same thing but in their own expression in their own way. And then like I there was a type of rebirth that happened, of course during the revolutionary wars. We were like, we're not doing this tax thing. Bam, throw the tea in the harbor. Let's go. Let's create a new country. And it served us until now. And but what's interesting is a lot has shifted, that like now the planets are even they're in a different order still, which is super unique. And this is really, you talked about Uranus. Uranus is definitely a key here because, like, Uranus wasn't discovered until that time period of like the Revolutionary War. We didn't even know it existed yet, but we can find out where it was because of our technology. Is in Gemini. So it's like we came online with communications and things like that. We may have even created double on stuff, a duality.
Definitely.
you
I
know?
mean, I can see that. I can see that in like freedom for all, but all only includes this particular kind of people, right? And
yeah.
they're in. That's like that's a duplicitous, Gemini thing.
Yeah.
But Uranus, the Great Awakener, and shocking, events and things like that. Yeah, wars. And that was, you're
Mhm.
talking about the Age of Enlightenment. When you're talking about the Revolutionary War period.
Exactly. I didn't know that. I couldn't think of the name of the time period, which really it was. And
Yeah, they called it the Enlightenment. Yeah,
did
at the
you ever?
time that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was done.
Oh, have you ever seen? I was on a plane, coming from London to here, and I watched this one video called the Cavalier, something like that. He's a musician. He was a violinist during in France, and
Mm,
one of the best ever. Okay, and because it was based on a true story, and he was kind of someone who really ignited the energies behind the French Revolutionary War. You know,
mm,
and I find it super interesting because, like, I would say Bach and Beethoven were in that era, right?
I don't know.
I think so, something around there. But we had divine music coming online. I'm so curious to see what happens during this time period because we're really about to awaken something large and huge and put a lot of pieces together. And I want to bring back Uranus for this because Uranus, this time or go around, is in Taurus. And
Mm.
that's all about manifestation. It's about birthing, and our values as well.
High
So,
values. That's what I was thinking.
and so I'm just like, and you know what? So I went and I did some math um, on when the next transit of Pluto and Aquarius would be 2272. Okay. Great numbers, by the way. Um,
Mhm.
and is when it enters. And you know that during that time period, Uranus is still in Taurus. So whatever
Wow.
we're creating right now is going to serve us for the next at least 400 to 500 years. The seeds we're
Yeah.
planting. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I had to share that with you.
I love it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't looked at that perspective. I appreciate that. And I was thinking when you were talking about Uranus being in Taurus and more about the sound and the music, that Taurus also rules the throat, and a lot of Taurians have really beautiful voices.
Ooh,
So it kind of rules the voice and the vocal. It rules the throat
I
area.
never actually thought about that. That's really interesting. Huh. Well,
Because I mean that's where our vocal cords are,
yeah.
and that's our in, that's our instrument. I mean we create, this is our creative instrument.
Huh. Wow. Jenna's a Taurus. Ah!
Oh
Who's
yeah. Oh.
it's great.
And she had a beautiful voice. I mean, oh
She
my God.
does.
Every time that lady sings, I'm just like,
I know, I'm like, angel.
yes,
Angel
exactly.
frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell her goddess vibes all the time. Amazing. Yeah.
And it's with also that Taurus energy, it's connected to Venus, that Venetian. It's connected to the Earth
Yeah.
too. Two different kind of thought patterns on Taurus, but
Well,
I
the
feel like both. Go ahead.
Earth is, well, I mean, Venus is actually the Earth's higher self in esoteric understanding. So, uh, Venus is the Earth and Venus are one being in a sense, and Venus is like the higher expression of the Earth.
It's so funny. I've been talking to Ella, uh, recently,
Mm-hmm.
known as yeah, okay, good. We're on the same page. Okay,
She's
I was like,
awesome. She's awesome.
we've been talking about this topic about like how did you phrase it? The higher like octave or higher frequency,
Yeah, higher self, higher.
higher
Right.
self. I like
Yeah.
that. That I'm sticking with because that
Yeah.
made so much sense to me. We've been talking about that for years.
It's
And I
relatable.
do you have like a source on that? Because I want to go into that and I don't know how to research it.
Yeah, I would. Mhm. I would look at anthroposophy, Rudolf Steiner.
Rudolph
Yeah, Steiner.
Rudolph Steiner.
Mm.
Guys, get out your pens for this one.
And
And
also, I mean, also, um, the Theosophical Society. They're a good resource for stuff on Venus as well.
okay, you said
And
anthropophagy?
anthroposophy,
Oh, and anthro-
anthroposophy, yeah,
positive.
Rudolf Steiner. So Rudolf Steiner was part of the Theosophical Society, and then he sort of broke away and started anthroposophy. Um, this was back in like the 18 and 1900s, late 1800s, early 19.
Okay. I
Um,
actually just read something about the that word that I can't say, society. That's really
mhm.
interesting. And I think it was
They're
actually
hard. They're
mentioned.
difficult.
No, that's where it came up. I know exactly where it came up. You have you ever heard of the new Indiana Jones like series? It's like it's like pretty much many movies, like 21 or 22 mini movies of Indiana Jones's life prior to the movies.
Oh
It's
wow, that's cool.
incredible. It's on Disney
Yeah, because
Plus. Go
that
ahead.
character is really really a powerful character. Yeah, Indiana
And
Jones as a character.
they mentioned that
Theosophical. The
theosophical.
Yeah, so it's like philosophical, but uh but Theo, which means God, I
Theosophical.
think, or
Okay.
religion.
Yeah.
Theo.
Theosophical.
The
Yeah.
so theosophy. So it's theosophy is the base word theosophy.
Okay.
Theosophical. Yeah.
Gotcha. It's kind of like the word spaghetti. If you didn't get it right off the bat, I used to be like Paschetti,
Yeah.
spaghetti.
Yeah. I still say Paschetti because I think it's fun.
It's great.
Paschetti, yeah. Aminos.
So, um, changing gears a little. Well, not completely changing gears, but do you do visual arts as well?
Yeah, I do. Um, I draw. I do a little painting, although I haven't gotten much into that
Hmm.
yet. I do enjoy it. Mostly, I do like pen and ink drawings, and I'm a henna artist. And I'm also like a graphic artist. So, um, I do mostly that's for like marketing stuff, but it matters, and it still brings me a lot of joy, and it's a way to communicate to people the essence of a thing that you're doing, through the color and other aspects of the design. So so I do enjoy that a lot, but I draw a lot. I also like um using color pastels.
Mm.
They're like my favorite. That's like one of my favorite mediums because like, you can really get in there and blend with your hands and stuff, and like get all messy, and it's very tactile, and it's very um. There's something about it that's like, I don't know if I want to say messy, but like if you look at this here, like the impression, it's a little more impressionistic. Like it works better that way to use oil pastels in an impressionistic manner and kind
Hmm.
of layer up the colors and stuff like that. So it's not like this super precise thing, which is what I do with the pen and ink. So it like just it allows a lot of freedom and it feels like more childlike, I guess, in a way. And yeah.
It's funny. So that's one of the mediums that I use for like I do oil well, I do more chalk pastels, but I at one
Yes.
point in time I
Chalk is
was
great too.
I love Rembrandt too. The brand. Oh my gosh, the colors
Mhm.
that come out of that are phenomenal. I will not buy cheap stuff.
Mhm.
I just won't. And
Yeah.
I will invest in the quality because it takes you to new worlds with the color. And I like I was doing that, and then that actually was part of the motivation for Leo class actually, was that kind of, you know, connecting with our heart and our, like kind of bit of childish a little bit, but accessing something in us. And I feel like when we did that class, it was so freaking cool because like the movement of the pastels. And then I did something that I hadn't done in like probably since 2018, 2017, where I used the oil pastels with it. And it literally like transformed so many things. It was so cool because like you could highlight certain areas
Yeah, right.
and
I can see
and it
it.
was like, oh, so like,
That's awesome.
oh man, I love art.
Ka- Me too, Catriel. I want
Mhm.
would you be able to kind of talk a little bit about your Zodiac Empowerment series while I go take a quick break and I'll be right back?
Sure.
Cool.
Right. So, for this series, um, we're really jumping into um, our blueprint that we were gifted from Divine Source Creator. And I'm using a model that was created by Chris Witecki, but essentially is the same blueprint we see in like the Torah and probably other belief systems because it's all about creating a sacred space for our transformation And essentially, we start off right now, we're talking about Libra energy, right? This Venus um, uh, beauty. But we have to kind of walk ourselves back a little bit. And how did we get there? And it's talking about creating the sacred space for our journey. That is the most important step of in regards to um, anything we want to start in life. And so having that sacred space is how we can concentrate our energy in a beautiful way. Because we have the zero energy and all the chaotic energies, the things that, are unformed are out here. We create this boundary to say, I have the intention that I want to truly create something beautiful. And so once we've spoken that out, that is like, okay, here is taking that energy and forming it. And so we have that circle. Now we want to start adding to that. We want to start adding to that intention, kind of like a beautiful painting. And we start with our first ingredient. The first little thing of paint is Leo. And Leo is all about connecting with our heart and leading with our heart and allowing us to truly find the spark within us and what lights us up. So when we're wanting to create something, creating from this space gives us it empowers us. It allows us to create something with intention and beauty. We can create something from a different area and and in a different format, and I don't necessarily like that, like what I mean by that is like it gives us empowerment when we can lead from the heart and start as our base. And so then we start to add in other ingredients. The second ingredient, that second splash of paint, is the Cancer energy. And that's about really connecting to the rhythm of life, the ebb and flow. It's our vibration. It's the current, right? And it's also connecting to our feelings because our feelings are all about um it's telling us what our heart cares about. And so when we tap into that energy, we're tapping into our soul. So I don't know if you heard before, but we're talking about the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series in the model that Chris Wojtecki really highlights with the sacred space. And I'm pretty much doing it like a painting, right? And the first ingredient is love. And the second we just put on there, it's really our soul, and aligning our heart and our soul together. Because when we start off an intention of something we want to create with those two ingredients, you can't fail. You really can't. It's, you can adjust it, but you cannot fail with your heart and your soul. Then we get to the third ingredient, which we throw that splash of paint on there, and that's Sagittarius. Sagittarius is all about our beliefs. I mean, imagine like, when you're tuning into an intention, do you believe it's possible? And if you're creating from that heart and that soul, and you're feeling like, is there some type of story that's holding you back from my highest and best? You can tune into that. Because once we start adjusting those things and start telling better stories, we expand ourselves and we start to see the painting flow out, kind of like the ripples in what's behind me. And then we add another splash of paint. This one gets a little bit messy. It's the Aquarian energy, shaking shift up. But it also allows us to see what we put on the page. And it's like, does that belong? Does that not belong? And oftentimes in the past, we figured out where we don't belong before we find out where we do. but we can feel through that whole thing because we have our heart on board, we have our soul on board, and we now got our, belief system on board. And then we start to radically shift and change our intention. It's like a science experiment, right? And it starts to formulate. And then we throw another splash of paint on. And bam, Gemini. We're communicating this beautiful energy out into the universe. And then it's our ideas, it's our thoughts. Those are powerful. And when we align them with our heart and our soul and our belief system, and we epically change everything, we're creating something big and we're communicating it out to the universe. And we're like, yes. And then that next paint, where we are right now, the Libra energy, it's about balancing and harmonizing that into one symphony, right? And allowing ourselves to receive it. Because oftentimes we don't do that. We are like, am I worthy of it? Well, yes, divine, beautiful soul, you are. And then we start to come online and explore a little bit more into the unknown. And that's the Piscean energy. That's when we use our divine senses. And we have to have compassion and understanding for ourselves in the process, because it's at the etheric level. It's almost there, but it's not physicalized yet. And then things start to formulate into a foundation. And there's Capricorn. And we start to lead like the CEO of our own life. And we are able to make decisions and commitments of the direction we want to go and what we really want to build. And then we take inspired action with Aries. And our painting is literally running off the page. Shoom! And then we see this nice, beautiful formation and birthing where we see the blade of grass pop through. And we're like, wow, there's Taurus. And then we see that reflected back to us with Virgo, that embodiment. Because we've already done it. And now we're just going to replicate it over and over and over again, but in the highest divine way. And so that's what this series is all about. It's about connecting with those divine energies. And how do we do that? We do that through these different workshops, the different classes. And it's not about us talking about the energy the entire time, which we do, but we experience. And that's the most important, because when we put a movement and inspired action into something, we start to feel it. The kinesthetic learner will feel it through the entire being. But we're also using other senses as well, because Libra, we're doing this in beautiful class with connecting with our poetry and our song and the music, and how that can really transform us. And so I'm really excited. Rae, if you could share more about what we're going to be doing for Libra class. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So, first of all, I just want to acknowledge you for your passionate share just then around the entire series, and sort of taking us on that journey. And just it's very evident how much your heart is in this. And when you said that thing about Virgo and sort of replicating it in the highest divine order, I thought of Virgo's service element, and like really being in service is that higher divine order in my opinion. So yeah, super Libra class. Okay, so we are going to explore what it's like to be in harmonious partnership with others, and so I don't want to give away too much about exactly what the workshop portion will be, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the energies of Libra. We're gonna talk about the opposite energy, which is Aries, and how that plays into the dynamic of a partnership, because in a partnership there's two or more individuals, right? And so Libra is about, diplomacy and sort of, I would say, grace, even social grace in a way. And one thing about Libra is that, it's more of a balancing act than being in perfect balance. It's in constant motion. Nothing's ever static. And so we're always having to adjust, and so you never really reach the perfect balance. That's a state that is at the center of everything already. And here where we are, we're not in a state of stillness. This is a dynamic experience, the human experience, and so it's always changing and shifting. And so Libra is the art of and challenge for Libra is to ride that wave and maintain balance, like on the surfboard on a moving wave, right? So and then a lot of that balancing act comes into play around when we bump into other individuals. And so that's Aries, me, it's about me. I matter, my reality, what I want to do. And that's super duper important and very valuable. It's all valuable. So it's just about learning how to play and interact in a way that both of those things, the needs of the partnership or the group, match up with the needs of the individual. And where can we, where's there room for play in that? And so that's a lot around when you're creating together in a group, or like in a band, right, or in a duet or whatnot. There's this beautiful thing that happens where, like, when you're playing a song, you'll notice that, like, the song starts, the bass and the rhythm are sort of like keeping it together. That's like the grounding force. And then, the singer is going, the guitarist, and then there'll be like a moment where the singer, like in like the bridge of the song or whatever, just like pops off and shines really big and like does this whole amazing part, right? And then right after that, it's like the guitar has its solo, right? And like so and then there'll be a spot where the drummer really can have a little solo too. And so everybody gets their time to shine as an individual in that group, but they wouldn't be none of them would be like shining as brightly without the other people supporting them. So it's a really beautiful, like, analogy for how the Libra and Aries energies work. That pole, because all of the zodiac signs are on a pole, right? It's a continuum of energy. So, and that pole, I love that you chose this. And Catriel came to me and said, "Hey, you do this open mic thing. I feel like that would be amazing for Libra class." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, let's do it." So we are going to learn a little bit about that. We're going to learn a little bit about how to sort of organize a piece of music, and then we're going to perform it. So I'm super stoked about that. We'll have the open mic section where you can sort of get up there and perform what you've come up with and created in a group dynamic.
Should they bring anything?
Oh, yeah, definitely bring any instruments that you want to use. I do have a couple house instruments. Like I'll have a piano and a guitar. I'll maybe bring a flute or two. I can bring my didgeridoo.
I can bring my drum.
But I definitely, that's beautiful. I don't have a drum, so that's something that would be really important to have, like a cajon or a djembe. But if you have any musical instruments at all, harmonicas, whatever you have, shakers, bring those, and you can let us know if you're willing to like share them with the rest of the group too, and or not. And bring a notebook and and pen, and bring an open heart and open mind. there's a kava bar there, and so there'll be beverages, and you might want to bring maybe a snack. I don't know if they have snacks. I don't think so. So you just whatever you need to be comfortable in the moment.
Also,
Water.
you mentioned a notebook. If you feel so called, I created a. I'll put off the thing. Hang on. This is the part that you can't see other things. Let's see here. There we go. I created a Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series journal, and it's exclusive for our series. And it has like lots of room for different questions that are connected specifically to this class and other classes in the series. So both the online classes and the in-person, it's all in one stop. And it's only $22 on Amazon. And so it has lots of room to be able to write down, things that later on, like say you get inspiration for a song and you're not able to complete it in this 3-hour time period. That's cool. Put it in the notebook. And it's something that, will be along your journey. And there's another reason for that, and that's a little surprise for the next episode. But there's a little surprise for you guys because I happen to record them in opposite order. Um, and yeah, essentially, there's a huge picture for what's going on with the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series.
Mrr. Yeah, so you heard him. Get the journal because that's going to be tailored to the class, and so that would obviously be the best. If you can't afford the journal, or don't get it in time or whatever, that then definitely bring a notebook. But I love that, and I looked through it and I was like, wow, this is amazing. So I forgot about that. I'm glad you had that right there. Very handy, very handy.
I keep all my notes because it has a schedule in it. And even though we didn't have all of the dates cemented in ahead of time, I just wrote it in. I was like, okay, well, this is great. Like, I'm so glad I created this for myself. Even if no one else does it, I'm like, this is perfect for me.
I love it. I feel like sharing the wealth.
Also, I haven't really mentioned this a lot, but I started doing Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series t-shirts, and you can get there's normal size, or the normal like t-shirt. It's not this one. I wish I was wearing it, I should have, but whatever. But I have, the front, but I also have the customized t-shirts that are back and front, which have the your favorite zodiac energy on the front, and it has a witty little saying. So that's super fun. And then it has the logo of the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series, this essentially, on the back, which is super freaking epic. And I have lots of different colors and sizes because I couldn't pick a black t-shirt. I didn't feel like it was colorful enough. So oh, right. Those are $36 for the back and front. But the normal ones are 25. The front. Yeah. Working on cutting costs, but right now that's where they are.
Where can you find them?
Oh, for the specific t-shirts right now, you can come to me. Message me. Thank you for also saying that, because all of this information, how you can find out more about the series and how to navigate through everything, is on energyspeaksbycatriel.com. You can find out, if you go to the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series, there's 2 different tracks. There's an in-person and an online. And that in-person will have 3 different categories. It will have, first of all, it'll have your calendar. Then it'll have beautiful beings, practitioners like Rae. And you can find out more about her. you can click on to her different social media and how you can connect with her for her events, which we'll talk about in one moment. And then underneath that, you'll have the location of our class, which you can click on the little link to go to navigate, and it'll actually take you to Google Maps to the actual destination, which is great. So if you happen to be like, crap, I don't know where this thing is, and I forgot to buy my ticket on time, you know, just literally click on the website and go to that little link under the class. And then underneath that, there's all a description about the class. And it will have this podcast, which you're listening to right now, on there. And I think something else, but I can't remember what it is. But I also want to give some space for Rae to share about what she's doing right here, right now, that you can connect with even before our class. Take it away.
Oh, yeah. So I hosted. I was looking at my calendar over here. You can't see that. Yeah. So I host an open mic every first and third Tuesday of every month at Roots to Crown in St. Petersburg, 1741 First Avenue North in downtown St. Petersburg, from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So that's the first and third Tuesdays of every month.
Okay.
And so I've been doing that for over a year now. And it's been super amazing. And it's a very inclusive space. So we've had a lot of first timers, let's say, like get up there and perform for the very first time at any open mic. Because they feel really comfortable. It's a very supportive and uplifting and inclusive environment. And we like to say that, no matter if you're a seasoned professional or you've never been, behind a microphone before, like, we welcome everybody to express themselves, because it's really all about self-expression. And we believe at Soulshine that self-expression is the cure for everything. That's like a big statement, but I love it. Self-expression is the cure for everything. So come on up here and express yourself. Come on down to Roots to Crown. Come on down to Roots to Crown, Soulshine Open Mic, and you can find that on Facebook. And there's an event page for it. Soulshine Open Mic with Luminous. That's me. That's my pen name for my music and art.
Can you re-say that?
Definitely
get a little.
Check that out, and then.
Can you say your name again?
So on it's there? Soulshine Open Mic with Luminous Vox with a V. So it means voice of light in Latin.
Oh yeah, it does.
Or voice. The voice part is Latin. Yeah. Anyway, Luminous Vox, and then also at Roots to Crown, I'll be hosting a special open mic series, open mic segment for one of their fundraisers. So if you want to come and support this amazing community, if you're in the local area, then please come out on the 24th of this month, 24th of February. And I'll be hosting, there's going to be like a cacao ceremony, like sound healing, all kinds of stuff. And then we're going to be doing some featured musicians, and then there'll be a small section of a couple hour window for like just open mic. Whoever's there can sign up, and then we'll have some more musicians at the end to kind of cap things off. But we're having like a raffle and everything, and basically it's a community space where people gather to do things other than party or like go out to a bar, or it's like it really provides a lot of community support for people who are looking to gather and socialize around things that are good for the entire body and all the chakras. That's what it means, from root chakra to the crown. So
I love it.
they offer classes there and all kinds of different events. So, but it's all grassroots. And one of the things that we really lack is a significant source of funding. And so we do rely on fundraising events and stuff like that to keep it going. So that'll be on the 24th. And then they're going to have some more events throughout that month. Throughout the month of February. So I think there'll be another event on like Saturday, maybe the 27th, but you can check out their website or go to their Instagram. Roots to crown.space is their website. And you can just look up Roots to Crown on IG or Facebook. One other thing I like to share about what I do is I have a poetry group on Facebook as well called Deep Magic, the Power of Poetry. And I highly recommend, if you like reading poetry, if you write poetry, if you, either of those two things. You don't have to write it, but if you just like to read it as well, you can join, and feel free to post your own poetry there. And you can also post poems, other people's poems that you like, there as well. It's just about experiencing the power of poetry together in community. So definitely check that out. Deep Magic, the Power of Poetry.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. You do a lot, and you're such a ray of sunshine. That's just great. I like said it out of my mouth. I'm like, oh wow.
Yes, ray of sunshine. Yep, it's a thing. Yep. I'm solar powered, bro. I always say that. I love the sun.
I love it. I love it. I'm more of a moon guy, which is great,
Yeah, I
but I
love
love
the
the
moon
sun
too.
too.
Yeah, I love the moon also. But the sun is, the sun, the soul. I connect very deeply with that energy. So,
It's funny. Out of all this, I forgot to say specifics on our class. So I'm going to say that now so that they can remember this. So, at the center, this is the location of our class, which is in St. Pete Beach area. Do you know the name of the road? Can't remember the name of the road right now.
Don't remember the name of the road. Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, it's right off of, but it's right off of Beach Drive, I think. It's just
Okay.
it's close by there, close near downtown, close to Corey Avenue. But yeah.
Okay. And so that will be on Thursday, March 7th from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. It's a 3-hour workshop because we have a lot that we need to do during that time. And to go deep with music, we need that. And that will be $55. And I'm super, super excited. This is such a unique gift that we can give to ourselves, and to really go deep. So invite your musician friends out there, invite people who've never done this before, invite everyone, because it's gonna be a really cool experience. Really cool experience. And I want to say thank you so much, Rae. I am so, so grateful to have connected with you and to collaborate with you. I'm just so honored.
Same. I love what you're doing. I love your energy, and I'm super stoked I'm super grateful that you invited me into this with you. And yeah, so it's just like, wow, yay, yes, of course, yes, I want to do, yes. Yeah, so please come out, tell your friends about it. And I think that we have, maybe a couple of spots for a sliding scale situation if you really can't afford the 55, but you really feel called to this specific class, and you're meant to be there. You could reach out to me or Catriel and let us know of your situation and what you can contribute. And it's possible
Yes,
that
thank you for saying that.
it's possible that we would maybe need a volunteer or something to help set up. So I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room for maybe a couple of people. So don't be shy about asking for what you need. We want this to, inspire and enliven and empower, empower you. So Thanks so
Amen.
much, Catriel.
Thank you.
Amen.
And I want to say thank you. Mer. And I want to say thank you so much to our listeners and watchers here. Please share this podcast with someone and allow it to transform their life. Energy Speaks podcast here, and share the Zodiac Energy Empowerment series. I love you all, divine, beautiful souls. And that is today's episode for Libra. And I shall see you soon.